Morning, everybody. Welcome from Fiji to another session of In the Kitchen, where we have a Pacific-based specialist and we hear about their story. And this series is part of a series that we are doing with FAO Pacific, and it's around digitalisation and almost like the modernization of the Pacific food system. So to kick us off, let's hear a couple of words from FAO, from Joseph Nema.
Bola, talofa, malolele, yakekia onara, and hello. My name is Joseph Nyeman. I work for the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations in the Pacific Islands. I'm excited to represent the FAO to open today's In the Kitchen episode, which talks about digital innovative communities, digital innovative opportunities that support market suppliers to customers. Digital innovative opportunities that support markets, suppliers to customers is very important for my work in nutrition and food safety for the following three reasons. The first reason is the fact that Pacific Island countries confront a crisis of non-communicable diseases. For example, the list of the world's top most obese countries is almost completely occupied by Pacific Island countries. I call this a killer crisis. But one good news is that innovative digital tools can help us address this NCD crisis. For example, the University of the South Pacific and the government of Fiji developed an app called the Makanan app. As a consumer, when you buy your food in a restaurant or prepare your meal at home, you can use the Makanan app to advise you over the nutrition quality of the meal. What a brilliant Pacific innovation this is. The second reason is related to food safety, but this is my challenge that I'm putting out there to the digital innovators in the Pacific. Wouldn't it be possible and nice to develop a digital tool that can quickly alert consumers that the food they are about to buy or eat has expired or that it has been contaminated? Bring up your ideas for us to work with you. The third and last reason is productivity, and by this I mean spending less time and money, but getting more and better results. In Asia and Africa, many farmers can stay in their gardens and use their cell phones to sell their produce. They are now using the time that they used to spend to travel in trucks and sit in markets for countless hours to focus on taking care of their fields. We have a few of these tools in the Pacific, but I'm calling on you to engage your governments and FAO to share your ideas over how to develop these types of tools in the Pacific. Let's try to digitalize our entire agri-food systems, and we will see a whole new set of results for our family communities and countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joseph. And today we have with us Mr. Kenneth Katafono, who is a Fijian ICT professional, consultant, and entrepreneur with over 15 years' experience in the design and use of digital technologies in the Pacific. In 2017, together with his wife, Shauna, he founded TraSeable Solutions, a Fijian data company and consulting firm that specializes in the digitalization and traceability solutions. TraSeable works in the Pacific agriculture, fisheries, forestry, and health sector. In addition to TraSeable, Kenneth is an international consultant. He's worked on projects for ADB, FAO, GIZ, and UNESCAP. Kenneth, lovely to see you.
Hello, Robert. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, and you're in Fiji also, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Hey, this is all new to me. What you're doing is all new to me because I've kind of been in the more of the communication space than the hard food system space. So I'm an idiot. I don't know anything about TraSeable. Give me the kind of the elevator pitch, but you're going like 100 floors up about TraSeable. Tell me first of all what TraSeable is and what motivated you to create TraSeable.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. So a lot of people actually don't know what we do. So TraSeable really, our foundation started in fisheries, and basically what we wanted to do was to ensure that we were able to provide a solution that could trace fish from the point of capture all the way through to the consumer. and to be able to tell a story about that particular fish to the consumer in a way that would capture the whole legality of that fishing, the whole sustainability aspects behind it of the operators that are catching that fish in the Pacific. And we saw opportunities in this space, my wife and I. And since then, we've pivoted into other areas. But really, we started in 2017 as we were moving back to Fiji. My wife previously worked for Samoa Fisheries, and I worked for the Foreign Fisheries Agency. And I mean, both of us, our passion has been fisheries for a while. My wife being a marine science graduate, and I've been in the technology space building solutions across the Pacific for fisheries. And we saw an opportunity here. We wanted to be able to apply our skills, our experience, and leverage our connections to offer a local solution that we felt at the time was needed in the region. And since then we've pivoted to other resource-based sectors like agriculture and forestry. Yep.
So I'm a consumer, right? And I want the best fish. And what I love, I just took a look at your website. So I can literally take my phone and scan the barcode on the product that you work with, that you've traced, and I can see where it's from, the catchment area, the boats that it was on, its whole story. Is that in a nutshell, is that what TraSeable's doing?
Yes, that's pretty much it. And I think this is also addressing some of the challenges in the fishery sector, largely around illegal fishing and misrepresenting fish species or mislabeling fish. So, being able to give the confidence back to the consumer about what they're consuming and where it actually comes from.
I mean, I see from a provenance perspective, there's the legal path, the traceable path around safety, health and safety, and good practice. But there's also, I guess, through this is a unique Pacific seafood story emerging that is a point of difference between that and maybe some of the dodgier stories that we hear. I mean, a lot of us have seen Seaspiracy on Netflix. We know that the industry is problematic, but you're actually grabbing a positive Pacific story and offering it to the world market.
Yeah, I think that's also important, considering the state of our fisheries and what's being projected to happen to the tuna fisheries in particular. In recent years, there have been declining catches. There's a lot more effort, a lot more boats fishing. And so, with a limited resource, we really need to start thinking about how we can try to maximize the return on that. And, traceability is just one way, we could do that by appealing to the consumer and telling the stories that maybe some of the operators take for granted right now, but, consumers might want to know.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because like Aotearoa New Zealand, the Pacific brand is powerful. It denotes purity, it denotes trust. So anything you can do to communicate that, and it's almost like you've legalized or you put a systemic framework into that story that to me would give the consumer a lot of confidence. Are you getting feedback around the goodwill towards the product that this TraSeable is creating?
Yeah, I think since 2017, when we started going on this, we've certainly seen a lot of interest around the region. We've had a lot of interest from operators in other parts of the world interested in the technology and how it's been applied. I think we are fortunate because we're on a small island in the middle of the Pacific, and there's a lot of challenges that we've had to overcome in implementing this type of technology. So the lessons that we've learned over time is very much applicable to others around the world. And we certainly see there being a lot of demand or interest around traceable products, not just fisheries, but in other sectors. And so, we also provide traceable products, traceable agricultural products that are going into the New Zealand market and Australian markets. And we've just recently started going into forestry products, so timber products that are going out, exported out of Fiji.
Right.
So just applying the same technology. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I love when I hear these Pacific first solutions because the advantage of being in an area where the population is small, industries are small, is you can pioneer things, you can model things that can be scaled up for a larger market. So this is where innovation and the Pacific align naturally. For me, I want to go into my local fish market and I want to be sure that the fish I get is certified by Traceable. I look for the barcode. Is that the key?
Yeah, so at the moment, our customers are largely commercial fishing companies, and most of their product is actually exported out into international markets. The local, I guess the local fish markets, it's a little easier, to know that they come from the waters nearby. Whereas if you're speaking about tuna that's consumed in Europe, it's a little difficult to understand where that product comes from. But we do, in saying that, we do have plans to start to do this more locally and in coastal areas. We're starting some work on coastal fisheries product in Australia. And so we look forward to getting that going.
Now, listen, you and I are both in the space where quote unquote development, and it's often hard to get the resourcing for a new idea. How did that happen for you? Who funded you to begin?
So my wife and I, we actually dug into our savings and we started the company on our own. And then over time, we've just built up through our work, built up the resources and the team that we have now to develop our products. Along the way, particularly with our work in agriculture, when we developed our Traceable Farms product, we had actually won an agri-hack competition in Tonga that gave us 5,000 euro in seed funding to start to develop that agricultural product. And, since that was late 2018, today it's probably one of the, I'd say, maybe the biggest in the region that's used in multiple countries that has a large number of farmers on it in terms of agriculture technology.
Great. Oh, that's great. So where are you going to be? Where's Traceable going to be in 5 years?
Yeah, it's been 5 years since we started, and we always get asked that question.
Overnight success, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Success. I think we found success. It takes a lot of time to achieve success, especially with these types of digital and innovative types of products in the region. But in 5 years' time, we certainly see ourselves as being the leading traceability provider in the region, where we are, I guess, assuring the provenance of natural resources that are going out of the Pacific, whether it's food, whether it's timber, or other resources from the Pacific. So that's where we see ourselves in 5 years' time, and we see ourselves as being a little bit bigger and being able to contribute more to the communities we work in.
And tell me about how that works, because I'm good mates with Tony Sullivan from FFA, so I understand that some of the Pacific fishing fleets are doing an extraordinarily good job of, using all the protocols that look after the ocean, that don't overfish, that take care of their employees, etc. The good story as opposed to the bad story that we've seen on Seaspiracy. So how do you play into that whole story rolling out moving forward?
Yeah, so I think naturally traceability types of technology, the early movers in this space that would want to show traceability and show sustainability are usually the operators that are doing good already. And so, there are folks like Blue Haywood with the Sequest group here, who were our first clients in fisheries. And, since then, we've tracked over 60,000 of their fish that they've caught. So we track everything that their boats catch. And we're able to see, what happens to each particular fish, where it goes, and help them try to communicate that to their customers. So since, we're able to do that, I think they've had opportunities. They've had folks coming from Germany that that want to buy this product because they see the value of the traceability and the consumer market and the demand for it in the consumer market. So we see ourselves helping these local operators with technology that's affordable, that's probably cutting edge in a way, and that would usually be wouldn't be affordable if it was offered anywhere else.
I mean, it just reminds me, because I lived in China for a long time and I came to understand the Chinese appetite for products they could trust. And what you're doing is really putting trust on the plate. So that's sign me up, man. I'm in with TraSeable. Hey, any parting messages you want to put out there for potential investors or potential industry partners or consumers?
Yeah, I think, we've always said that it's important that, we know where our food comes from. We always, as Pacific Islanders ourselves, we're always seeing how we could help operators in this space, our fellow countrymen and fellow Pacific Islanders, island business people, get the most out of their products that are going into the market, especially food products. We're always open to opportunities and, looking at investment or partnerships. We always reaching out to different companies where we see this type of technology being applicable, and not just in fisheries, but across all the sectors that we work in. And I think over time, as the Pacific gets more connected, as data becomes cheaper, as everyone has a smartphone, these types of systems we see would, in the future, 5-10 years from now, would be a bit more ubiquitous than they are at the moment. We're excited to be at probably the forefront of that in the region, and looking forward to seeing others follow our example and come up with innovative solutions.
I see that you're really describing the future of food, actually, the way the food system needs to go, and your function in that as the storyteller and also as the one that certifies the story is tremendously influential. I mean, you actually are the one on, if you look at a food system and you're in the middle, right, doing the kind of the management of how it's told, you've got influence going back to the fish and going forward to the consumer. Do you feel that power that you possibly have and the power to influence in a positive way? Do you relate to that personally?
Yeah, we certainly do. We certainly relate to that. It's not that we're after that power, but I think for us it's being able to help others, help other businesses leverage the technology. We've there's so much data we collect on agriculture, on fisheries, and we could utilize it in different ways. But for us, at the end of the day, it's about how we're able to assist our clients get new markets. A lot of the operators we work with, the businesses we work with, they very, I think, very traditional in how they operate. So doing something digitally, being able to market retail directly, those are things that are not their usual mode of operation.
Yeah.
And so, with our tools, with the data, we are able to start to help them achieve some of those goals that they're trying to set. Particularly given since the pandemic, things have changed a little bit.
Right. Yeah. No. Fantastic. Spoken like a true man of the Pacific, by the way. I notice that whenever I'm talking to anyone who lives in the Pacific, they always put their community in the middle of their vision. And it's if the whole world was that way, we would be living in a beautiful planet. So I really appreciate what you're doing, Kenneth. I really get what you're doing. I'm stoked to meet you. I'm sure I'll see you around Suva while we're running around in various coffee shops. It was great to meet in person the other day. And thanks so much. Thanks so much. Really appreciate your work and really understand its vital position in the wider Pacific food system. So thanks so much. On behalf of Pacific Island Food Revolution, terrific food story. Thank you, Kenneth. And thanks as ever to Pacific Island Food Revolution's wonderful resource contributors, the Australian and New Zealand government, who genuinely care about the well-being of Pacific people. Naka.